according to UN is a crime that involves the intent to destroy a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group in whole or in part. Cultural thing was not included in this. This was included later as long as it's part of the other things. How the genocide is carried out: killing members of the group, causing serious physical or mental harm to members of the group, intentionally subjecting the group to living conditions that are intended to cause its physical destruction, imposing measures that prevent the birth of children within the group, forcibly transferring children from the group to another group. The term genocide was first started in 1944 by Polish lawyer. Genocide is two words. Geno represents race, tribe, or genetics. Side is killing. So genocide means killing a group of people or the genetic material. UN definition of genocide was accepted in 1948. Cultural part was included later. In January 2024, 153 countries ratified the Genocide Convention, and the International Court of Justice has ruled that the convention's international law applies to all countries, even those they have not ratified. So this is a there's a small print, but I think you'll be able to read, or I can read. I think this is the most important slide that I can go through, because it gives you stages of genocide, how genocide is carried out. There are about 10 points. First is classification, division into them versus us. So majority community will target the smaller group. So they are the bigger one, them, and then us, okay? Symbolization, identify them as a different. Like in Germany, Hitler told the Jews to wear some yellow tag. For Sikhs, they don't have to symbolize us. We identify them ourselves. Discrimination, excluding groups from voting, any civil jobs or any other identity, so they can be dehumanized, deny them the humanity of a group. Organization, where they train people who will use weapons and persecute the target group. Polarization of the society, this is the most important. So divide them into two, and the victims could be identified: animals, rats, cockroaches, whatever they want to call them. Preparation, planning for mass murder of identified group. So remember, preparation. Persecution, incarceration, concentration camps, or many other ways of doing it. Extermination, I think spelling is wrong. Extermination, committing mass murder, where the people who have been trained to use weapons, etc., now they will be going ahead. Then denial of any crime. So even the dominant group have committed the crimes, but they don't think they have done anything wrong. It's justified in their mind. So the last genocide never just happens. It's not just accidental thing. There's always set of circumstances which occur or created to build a climate in which genocide can take place. So please remember the last one, the genocide doesn't happen accidentally. It's planned and executed. And it'll be pertinent to our discussion going on. So I will stop here. I'm going to invite Dr. Amrik Singh to start his part.
Dr. Singh, do you have a slideshow?
Yeah, it's already there.
Yeah. Just,
Thank you.
And you have the, do you have the
Clicker?
clicker?
Little
Is it on?
Yeah.
And doctor, when you want to change the slides, point the clicker at the
Oh.
PC, that's the easiest way
Yeah.
to ensure that it goes.
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ ਨਮਸਤੇ assalamu alaikum. First of all, I would like to thank you, Professor Wheeler and Professor Raghuji's lecture. Both had an important position at Sac State. And so, okay. So I have been teaching also here since 2006 in ethnic studies, Sikh Americans and globalization, and Punjabi elementary. So, so today, Dr. Garibal, thank you so much for arranging this, supporting this event. So, as this is one of the most difficult topic to talk about genocide, to elaborate on it, the site of it, I mean, it's the most difficult thing. And here I just want to make it clear, when we are doing this most difficult topic, our purpose is to understand the process, how hatred becomes into a kind of a inhuman, brutal, barbaric thing. So our purpose is that it should not be taken in any other way, you know. So my talk is Sikh genocide, which is very less known even among the Sikhs. And it is so critical to the 19th century and to the 20th century. It's very critical. Dr. Garibal already talked about what is genocide, and it's a well-planned, targeted killing of an ethnic group, ethnic, or racial, or religious groups, simply as Reverend Lampkin has said. In genocide, a world history, Oxford World History, he defines over the ages, genocide had both external and internal dimensions. Political leaders have turned against their internal groups, tribal, ethnic, religious, social, and sought their elimination as a way to preserve privilege, avoid dissidence, consolidate power, and accumulate wealth. And they also have co-opted the natives, and their intention is to occupy territories nearby or distant. So, just a minute. All right. So, classification already, Dr. Garibal has done this. 10 stages of Professor Gregory Stanton has defined this, but simply classification, just give the dog a bad name and kill it. Symbolization, add all the signs of hatred, associate symbols of hatred with that group. And dehumanization, dehumanization, so make discriminatory laws and make it very open. And it becomes a norm or routine. Organization organize the hate groups, vigilantes. Polarize, the very influential politician involve them to polarize. And preparation is kind of a policy, making it very open that you would not be punished if you participate in this crime. Prosecution, prepare the death lists of the people, first the leaders, and then do the masses, allow them to gather at a place where they can be exterminated. So then keep denying. So in Punjabi we call it Kalukara. It has a very specific meaning. Kalukara. It has, in Professor Khan Singh, he says it's a total destruction. Also, it also means Kalu means is kind of a, trapping them by inviting them to a place where they are in a large number and exterminate them. So Kara is kind of a, its impact. Kalu is a destruction, means its deadly impact on the people, and places. In other words, it means a high tide of violent force that leaves a trail of death and destruction. So a brief outline, first I'm going to talk about the small Holocaust is called by Sikhs themselves, because there is a other bigger one 16 years after this. So who are involved in this first? Actors is a Mughal emperor, and Punjab governor Yahya Khan, his father Zakaria Khan, and the upper caste Hindu chief Lakhpat Rai, and Faujdar, his brother Jaspat Rai. Allies. So allies, Hindu hill chiefs are a major factor in shaping Mughals' policies towards Sikhs. Vigilantes, under the leadership of feudal lords and elites, they were known as Chaudhries, both in Islam and Hinduism, belonging to both Islam and Hinduism. And targeted group Sikhs, criminals, career criminals they were called, low caste untouchables, poisonous snakes, outlawed and dispossessed of their properties. And places are targeted: Golden Temple, Darbar Sahib, and Guru Granth Sahib. So they are the main target. And 7,000 children, women, and old men killed, and 3,000 were arrested. So this is a brief outline, but I just want to why this hatred, when it started, and how it's developing day by day, and is continuing even today. So in Sikhism, we believe that there is only one creator, one cosmic energy, and when it's one for all, and all, one in all in one. And Naam, when there is no other, then it doesn't need any name. All names are as true or as false, doesn't make any difference. There's only one. And so Naam is, truth is thy name, Sat Naam. And it's a neutral, non-specific. But the specific is Allah, Lord, God, all these are. So when there are so many languages, there are so many names of God. Okay, those who have, in Guru Granth Sahib say, those who have forgotten name and caught in duality, they petrify and die and are consumed by the fire of desire. So that's the basis of hatred. Next. So the birth of stereotypical dehumanizing hatred for Sikhs in 1605 to 1704, just a brief reference. Mughal Emperor Jahangir ordered execution of the fifth Guru. Why? The religion is drawing simple-hearted Hindus and even foolish, stupid Muslims. This is what he says in his biography. And a reference to Shudras, untouchables, hierarchical position both in Hinduism and Islam. And he ordered quote, I ordered that Guru Arjan should be put to death by tortures. So by those discrimination and dehumanization. So reference from Peter and Pajan is here from that book. Mughal royals and Hindu bureaucrats shape ultra-nationalistic policies against followers of Nanak. agency, what is the agency? How Guru Arjan Dev Ji is tortured. High-ranked Mughal Hindu official Chandu carried out the execution with severe tortures, mostly described in Manu Samriti, a Hindu law against untouchables. So how he's tortured was put in a boiling cauldron, hot sand was poured on him, and then he was again made to sit on a hot iron plate. So 5 days his tortures went, and all the time he was asked to convert to Islam. So ideological basis of hatred determined polarization and persecution. In 1675, the 9th Guru and his 3 followers executed for standing up for their Sikh beliefs. In 1704, 10th Guru's sons, 5 and 7, bricked the lives, several thousand killed by tortures. So these are just images shown how one of his, before Guru's death, one of his first 3 followers, they were sought and set on fire and boiled. And then the 4th Guru himself was beheaded. 4 massive Mughals army attack on 6th Guru, 13 on the 10th Guru. It's a discrimination. The gigantic Mughal army infrastructures, Hindu chiefs carry out these attacks. And Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah, he issues a royal edict, and that is a command, edict, kill the disciples of Nanak where they were found. So these orders are from Persian resources. Historian writes Emperor Fuxiyar repeated the same. Then Banda Bahadur, his eyes were gouged, his hands and feet were chopped, his body torn apart with red hot. His infant son was hacked to pieces, and his quivering heart thrust into his mouth. His 793 followers were tortured for 7 days. They were killed and asked to convert to Islam all the time. And in this vigilant violence, killed about 25,000 Sikhs. So public execution of Sikhs in 1716. These are just images, just how mother is trying to save her son, and but son says no, he wants to go with the rest of them. So this is how it was a public spectacle in Delhi, and many Europeans recorded these events during that time. And so Punjab Governor Abdul Samad Khan, son Zakaria Khan, and then you will see Yahya Khan. So one of the Persian resources say that Abdul Samad Khan, for him, the vast land of Punjab, it was just like a dish full of blood. So he made Punjab a dish like of blood. And his son made it like a pool of blood, so he shed so much blood during that time. And Zakaria Khan, his son Yahya Khan, he had rivers of blood, so many people were killed. So rewards were announced for Sikhs here, seizing their land, beheading them, and those many people became rich with blood money by taking like 10 heads or 100 heads or something. So they were in, I did some conversion, so it comes to like $50,000, $60,000, So it was a race that all Sikhs were carrying big prizes on their heads, and they were, ousted from the civil society. And historian Kashman Singh says Zakaria Khan had made headhunting a profitable business by offering rewards, all these different rewards which I just talked to. By menacing a Sikh scholar's execution. So now Dewan Lakhpat Rai, he is arranging all this. So his target, even though he is himself a Hindu, but he's trying to please his masters as much as he can. So he is targeting the most respected scholar, Mani Singh, and he's limb by limb, he's tortured, killed, and silenced. So this is how each limb of his was cut. And this happened in around 38. Yeah, next. So these Savek Singh and his son Shahbaz Singh, so when every Sikh had a prize on his head, so people are making excuses to kill them and to get the prize. So these Savek Singh is a Mughal, very officer. Actually, he is employed there, and so his son Little, there was a complaint that he blasphemed, Prophet's mother, and so both of them were picked, and they were asked to convert, and so they were just squeezed in these two big wheels. So this is a recent history recorded by many Persians, Indian, many resources. So this Taru Singh, he just would feed, as is a practice in Sikhism, to not only Sikhs, to anyone, whoever can. So he was picked just while he was feeding, and so his skull was just, scraped. And historian Cunningham say he would neither eat his conscience nor the symbol of his conviction. Mughals hitman Massa Rangad. So he was just a vigilante, and then he became rich with blood money. So he was made in charge of the Golden Temple, and so he killed so many people. He had the Golden Temple sacred pool filled with carcasses of cow, and had brought so many women over there, dancers, and so much atrocities, barbarity, you cannot imagine. Two Sikhs disguised, so Mehtab Singh and Sukha Singh though came, and they actually attacked him, and his head was taken away by them. So now we are coming close to the actual event. On March 10, 1746, all Lahore Sikhs executed at Horse Market, because there was an order that Sikhs cannot live in any city, any village, or in any place, anywhere. So there was a order, official order, that they should be all rounded up, or they should be executed. If they convert to Islam, they convert to any other, they can be spared, otherwise not. So public warned not to utter anything like a guru. That was banned even. Diwan Lakhpat Rai, who is the main architect of the Chota Talukara, now launched a second phase of his bloody campaign. He invited all anti-Sikh citizens to join in the state's effort to ferret out Sikhs from their hideouts in forests and kill them. So this is the horse market in Lahore, which is known as Shahid Ganj, a martyr place in today's, and there is a Gurdwara there, and there is a mosque there. So in this vigilante violence, 25,000 people were killed. City of Lahore had not a single family of Sikhs in its periphery. Sikh could be killed anywhere by anyone. So notable, you just see some of those images, Mani Singh, Mani Singh, Taru Singh, Sabek Singh. Next one. So this is the site where, this site from 1720s to 1765, the same site was used to execute Sikhs throughout those 40, 50 years. Mughal Faujdar Jaspat Rai was a brother of Lakhpat Rai. Zakaria Khan's death gave some break to Sikhs' persecution because there was a power struggle between two brothers. On Yahya Khan's installation to the governorship, Diwan Lakhpat Rai promised his boss to escalate killing of Sikhs and their conversion to Islam. In the meanwhile, he was shocked to know that his brother, Jaspat Rai, he attacked some of the Sikhs, those who came for food there. And one of the Rangreta Sikhs was a, untouchable Sikh. He climbed up the elephant he was riding and cut off his head. So that incident enraged his brother so much that he took another vow to exterminate Sikhs altogether. He said he would not call himself Khatri by his caste name until he finishes every vestige of the Sikhs from the face of the earth. So May 17, 1746, Kalukara, Mughal army and huge crowds of excited vigilantes marched to the Kanwan forest. They used all means such as cutting trees, setting fire, letting hound dogs after old men, women, and children. About 7,000 to 10,000 are instantly killed, 3,000 to 4,000 are prisoners, later to be executed publicly at Horse Market. It was a great loss for a tiny Sikh community, hardly 1 million among 40 millions of Muslim Hindus and others in Punjab. 50% population was exterminated. Diwan Lakhpat Rai destroys Guru Granth Sahibs and discards them in rivers and wells and burnt many other historical manuscripts. So this is a cultural genocide or ethnocide. So now the end of Mughal Empire in Greater Punjab, Sikhs built the forts. During this time, Nader Shah from Persia came, and the Sikhs were trying to make sense of the trauma they were having. They were trying to defend themselves because there was no defense at all anywhere. So they built a fort. And the first Afghan invasion happened, Amir Shah Abdali, the architect of Afghan Empire. So he launched the first attack, though he didn't have a success. In the second one, he had the success. So this is how another Mir Manu emerged from Afghan's invasion. And so he would round up all the Sikh women, and how he would put their children's limbs in their necks and harass them to convert them. So now, 1753, Punjab annexed to Afghanistan Empire. So Mughal lost forever Punjab. And so this is the timeline. There are so many, 10 invasions of Amir Shah Abdali. And he's replacing, meaning he's replacing only the empire, but the whole infrastructure is the same. The same officials, same Lakhtar, same all, everything is the same. And the same execution Horse Market where Sikhs were, and it continued. So next. So now in brief, 16 years after is a Vada Kalukara, is a bigger. And who are the actors? Afghan ruler Amir Shah Abdali, governor of Sirhind Jan Khan, governor of Malerkotla Hingan Khan, and Hindu hill chiefs. Allies, Naranjani and Zindali, those who were anti-Sikh forces under the patronage of both Mughals, Afghans, and hill chiefs. And it was a key spy center against the Sikhs. Vigilante organized and trained bands of hate groups guided by elites. And so what happened? 30% to 35,000 Sikhs massacred. Sikhs' most sacred place, Harmandir Golden Temple, was blown up with gunpowder. And Sikh Guru Granth Sahib scriptures and other artifacts were destroyed. Next. So this is just an image of, the fight. Next. Why Vadukala? But Vadda Kalukara we call the bigger genocide. Why? A context of 1759-1761. When Abdali, after his victory passing through Punjab, several cartloads of looted wealth and 2,200 young Hindu women, prisoner, Sikhs deprived him of a lot of wealth, and women were freed from the captivity. So the Sikhs, those who were doing guerrilla war at that time, so they freed all those women and restored to their families. Sikh honorably restored the young women to their families. And so they won admiration for their acts, but condemnation of hill chiefs and many Hindu bureaucrats who were considered a party to their enslavement. The only hurdle in his way to become the emperor of Hindustan were the Sikhs. Abdali resolved to teach them a lesson. Ahmad Shah Abdali builds a coalition to punish Sikhs. Governor of Sarand, Nawab Jahan Khan, Governor of Malerkotla, Hill chiefs, Patiala Sikh chief Baba Ala Singh to promise safe shelter to families. This is how he dupes the Sikhs. Ranjiyas, Akil Das, and Jalandhar Dwaf Afghan Governor Raja Kabanchand, Nawab Malerkotla, and all these are the coalition forces. So who are Niranjaniyas? They changed a lot of Sikh history, a lot of, Sakhis and dates of the Gurus. Anti-Sikhs employed them to spread disinformation. They had written a Janam Sakhi by changing dates of the birth of Guru Nanak. They organized hate groups to work with Mughals. Sects had Akil Das was the key player. Next. So preparation and polarization. Akil Das worked with the Malerkotla Nawab and hill chiefs to move Sikhs to a deceptive safety of Malerkotla and Patiala Sikh state. So they were duped, deceived that they're gonna go into a safe place. And that's how they prepare, organize to exterminate, becoming instrumental in manipulating and then inviting Ahmad Shah Abdali to launch a massive, sudden attack on Sikh civilians, children, women, and old men. They were about 50,000 to 60,000. A sudden siege and attack from all sides led to the massacre for more than 50% of the population. But Sikhs were a very tiny community at the time. A joint operation at Rohida, Kup, persecution and to extermination. It's a joint preparation by Abdali with cooperation of Governor Malerkotla. So took him into custody to save him from the wrath of the Sikh Confederacy. So one of the Baba Allah of Patiala, who was, so he played a very, very ambivalent role in the whole show. And actually, many Sikhs believed that he gonna come to their rescue when they were securing their families, but at the last minute he did not. And this is how a large massacre happened. Even though the excuse was that he was arrested by Abdali at the time, but it looks like many historians hint that it was a prearranged kind of a ploy. So Sikhs restored civil rule. How? How they are not taking revenge on, like in a sectarian lines, like Hindus, Muslims, they are not taking revenge in that manner, no. Some Brahmins came to Amritsar. A Brahmin came that his wife was abducted by one of the Nawab of the Ksur, and the General Assembly decided to rescue his wife and attacked Sur. And this is how they were successful in restoring the wife to him and actually killing the Nawab there. Ahmad Shah Abdali's main architect, Jahan Khan, who killed so many Sikhs, he ran away from the field, but he left his wife and children. And Sikhs took the custody of wife and children, but they didn't harm them, rather honorably restored them to their safety, their family. So this is how the civil rule started coming up. Sikh controlled Punjab for 80 years, but Sikhs stayed throughout a tiny minority. They did not target civilians, Hindus, Muslims for revenge. They did not convert people to their faith, as Sikhs opposed to the forcible conversion. Punjab's democracy remained 65% Muslims, 25% Hindus, 6 to 7% only, and 3 others. Punjab fell to the British in 1849. Shared nationalism that thrived under pluralistic Sikh rule cracked, leading to the Jallianwala Bagh massacre, 1 million deaths in 1947, and the horrors of 1984. So this is the end of my presentation. I think I didn't take much time. Thank you. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you.
I can do this for you if you like. You can nod. How's the audio for the audio?
So, good morning again. Now we go to Sikh Genocide, June 1984. This is something happened right in front of our eyes and has affected our lives forever. Reason for this Sikh genocide is the Brahmanism has been very intolerant religion. Anything which comes affect their livelihood, they don't tolerate. In 700 to 750, there was Adi Shankara or Shankaracharya, supposedly a Brahmin king of Bengal. He was very successful driving all the Buddhists out of India. So Guru Nanak was born in 1469. At the age of 9, he rejected Brahmanism. He refused to wear that sacred thread. And ever since then, the Brahman has considered Sikhs as their enemy. Next. So, Motilal Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru, and Indira Gandhi, they are Kashmiri Brahmins. According to some of the literature search, they were descendants of Ganguram Kaul. The Sikhs usually call him a Gangu, who turned Guru Gobind Singh, 2 younger son and mother, to the Mughals. So the family continued. So Jawaharlal Nehru became Prime Minister in 1947. Actually, I think somewhere in 1945. Partition took place in 1947. Many of the promises Congress and he and Gandhi made to Sikhs were never fulfilled. After the Constitution was made, Article 25 of the Indian Constitution, they included Sikhs as Hindus. Sikhs, Jainism, Buddhism are considered sect of Hindus. So this is the reward for supporting Congress. So after Nehru, for a brief period, there was somebody else. Then Indira Gandhi came into power. 1975, she was found guilty of corrupt practices in Raebareli by the High Court and suspended from any office for 6 years and supposed to go to jail for a week. Instead of resigning and accepting the verdict, she declared emergency on June 25th to 26th in the country, which lasts about 18 months. All civil liberties were suspended, all fundamental rights were abrogated. Nearly 140,000 people, including entire opposition, arrested. Out of that, there were about 60,000 Sikhs, which never gave up. So that annoyed her, and she never forgot. She made many gestures, but Sikhs didn't trust her. So the agitation continued. Compulsory 20,000 public servants retired, 100,000 forcibly sterilized. It was so bad, Vijay Lakshmi Pandit, who was her aunt, her father's sister, paid handsome tribute and admired the Sikhs for their resistance to the emergency. So Sikhs were demanding. What were the Sikhs' demands? Very simple. Sikh demands had nothing to do with anti-India, anti-Hinduism. All they were asking, transfer of Chandigarh to Punjab, which was a part of the 1966 Punjabi Suba Agreement, and acknowledgement of Punjab's riparian rights of river water. So there was nothing seditious here. Then there's a religious demands, which was installation of transmitter to broadcast Gurbani from Golden Temple. Very simple. Removal of liquor and cigarette shops from the vicinity of Golden Temple and All India Gurdwara Act. Then there were center-state issues, greater autonomy for states, and no anti-Hindu demands. So the number 3, the center-state issues, were covered in the Anandpur resolution. So what she did to reward the Sikhs while opposing her in the emergency, in 1976, about 75% of Punjab river water and hydropower was allocated to non-riparian states, loss of rupees 25 billion per year to Punjab's agriculture, and gain to the non-riparian states. Sikhs were 30% in the armed forces. They were reduced to 2% of the population by the defense minister. So this is working now. I think from 30%, they are maybe 10, 15, maybe even 8, but they'll stop only when it's 2 or less. Sikhs going to Asian Games, even some of the high-ranking army officers, general, they were insulted. Plan was put into action. So remember the 10 points of genocide. So she is planning genocide like Hitler did. So with the help of Gyani Jail Singh and Sanjay, they warmed up to Sant Janel Singh Pindrawala. This misinformation that he was recruited by Congress. He was not recruited by Congress. He was a very strong religious man. You know, all the religions today are very worried about their young people and then trying to bring them back to their own religion. So that's what he was doing. So his teachings were give up intoxicants, give up alcohol, take Amrit. That's very similar to baptization. Become Sikhs, become Amritari and Shastrtari. So when you become Amritari, you carry that symbolic sword. That means a small weapon. So there is no way for his preaching Indira Gandhi will tolerate him. So he was not brought by Congress. Propaganda against him was started by Akalis, because what he was doing, Akalis should have been doing. The Sikh who have been representative of Sikh political party, but they have not done their part. So they felt threatened, and they started this conversation that he is recruited by Congress because it didn't suit them. And Congress stayed quiet because it suited them. So if Akali started doing what he was doing, the coalition with Jan Singh will break. So the both parties were manipulating. So then to stage a conflict, a Nirankari Sant was recruited. Nirankaris were insulting Sikh scripture, Sikh history, and it was not tolerable to Sikhs. Actually, the predecessor of Sant Jarnail Singh, Sant Kartar Singh started opposing this. He arranged mass rallies, and he died in bad accident in Ludhiana, and then Sant Jarnail Singh took his place. So from reading all this, my assessment is he was also murdered, Soviet style. You know, you bring the trucks and kill. Just the same way the Soviets killed General Patton, just the same way they killed General President Jarnail Singh. So this was an act which just became an incident. Nobody followed it for criminal investigation. April 13, 1978, Nirankaris at the Vaisakhi Day, which is very important to the Sikhs, arranged a meeting in Amritsar just to insult the Sikhs. The Chief Secretary of Punjab was there with them, Lala Jakhtaran, who was a Hindu media publisher and very anti-Sikh, not anti-Kali, anti-Sikh. He went there and he arranged the weapons. So when the Sikhs went to protest, Sikhs even asked one of the ministers to cancel their meeting, but he was not helpful or not powerful enough. So they were shooting on the people who went to demonstrate. They did not shoot anything. But the 18 people died, 13 of them were Sikhs. So that set up a bad environment in Punjab, and these Nirankaris were never punished. Their cases were transferred out of Punjab. Nobody ever saw them to be responsible for their criminal behavior. Next. Nirankari chief was assassinated April 20th, 1980. Lala Jakhtaran was killed near Ludhiana on September 9, 1981. He was an anti-Sikh, anti-Punjab politician. When he was killed, Sant Jarnail Singh was 200 kilometers away from Ludhiana, but he was implicated. 300 of Punjab policemen were sent to arrest him, but he was able to escape, went back to Chowk Mehta. So then they had a plan, the Indira Gandhi had a plan to army to go and arrest him. The Punjab government requested General Sinha, who was the chief of Western Command, to give them armed vehicles so they can go to Chowk Mehta, and he refused. He said, this is not role of the army. So when he was away, his chief of staff, Mr. Puri, was contacted by Vice Chief of Indian Army to supply a battalion of Gorkhas who were near Amritsar to go to Chowk Mehta and arrest him and kill the Sikhs. General Sinha came in time. He found out the what plan, and he cancelled. He said he wanted to talk to the Prime Minister, which was never granted, and he was told, just stand down, police will take care of it. Sant Jarnail Singh offered him for arrest. He was kept house arrest in a place in Amritsar and then released unconditionally because they couldn't prove any charges. They didn't have any case against him. 2 of his associates were kept in jail for 1 year and then released. No charges could be proven. He became aware of government plan to kidnap him, so he moved to Chowk Mehta, which is part of a Golden Temple complex. He moved there in 1982. So just remember what we said before. So now circumstances are being created. Environment is being created where Indira Gandhi could justify attacking the Golden Temple. Okay. He's giving information he's going to be kidnapped, so he moved to Golden Temple. Next. Starting 1978, Ra agents, Ra chiefs of the states, Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan, Kashmir, were preparing for all the environment, but they had no knowledge of what was going to take place. Every 6 months they were changed, so they could never comprehend the overall plan. The governor of Punjab, during 2 years, there were 4 governors. Governor of Punjab was never allowed to be there for more than 6 to 9 months. So they had never known what the ultimate plan is coming. So it was all from Indira Gandhi. Ra agents were spreading, they created this Khalistan plan to the Sikhs, mostly starting in diaspora, which is documented by Ra officers. there was a gentleman or agent of Indian government selling Khalistan passports and currency in Toronto, and turned out to be he was the Indian government agent. This is documented by Sidhu's book, who was an officer. A replica of Golden Temple was built 18 months before the attack. So see, they started preparation 18 months before the attack, and Sant Jarnail Singh was not even near the Golden Temple. So the circumstances were being created so they can justify. Army General Sinha, Jamwal, Sundarji, who took part later on, advised against the attack, but General Vaidya, who was Chief of Army, agreed to do the bidding. Anti-Sikh campaign was intensified. Third agency was created, which was directly responsibility to the Prime Minister. Their job was to create a situation, excite the Hindus against the Sikhs. Hindu mobs burned Sikhs and Sikh scriptures in Haryana. Bus carrying Guru Granth Sahib was set on fire. 1981, Hindus marched in front. When the Sikhs were asking no cigarette, alcohol near Golden Temple, 10,000 of them was brought who marched in front of Golden Temple. They say, "Bidi cigarette piyenge, shaan se jiyenge." We will smoke bidi and cigarette and we will live with honor. In February of 1984, 12 Sikhs were lynched in Haryana. Hindu gundas molested Sikh women. More than 12 gurdwaras damaged. So this was a preparation to turn Hindus against the Sikhs, just like Hitler or Kalukara, as you said. Sole purpose of the government was, so the Sikh, you go back once. Okay, next. There were many meetings between Akalis and is a misspelling, Akalis and the government. So they were sham meeting, giving the impression that they were negotiating, but every time they come to some conclusion, Indira Gandhi will reject. The final meeting was arranged by Harkishan Singh Sarjeet, who was a communist leader, and they made all the agreement. Even the Indira Gandhi staff has agreed. And even press leaked that agreement has reached, that everything will be fine. But in the morning when she saw, she rejected it and went back to square one. Because she was determined to carry out her massacre plan, nothing was approved. Sikhs were projected as a communal, extremist, terrorist, separatist, anti-national. To disseminate this information, all India radio, TV, and Indian press cooperated and was a part of it. Sant Jarnail Singh was aware of government plan to kidnap him. In December 1983 or around January 1984, at the advice of those Akali leaders, Tora and Sant Longawal, he moved to part of the Akal Takht. So it's why he was there. Look, who's advising him? Who's advising him to move there? And he moved there. Most of the firearms smuggled into Golden Temple were done by third agency. There were 2 trucks loaded with weapons, and police were told not to stop, but facilitate. So this documented by the book written by Governor of Punjab, B.D. Pambe. On January 15, 1984, Army was given final order to prepare for Operation Blue Star. So Sant Jarnail Singh moves in, and the army now is set. The situation is set for the next attack. President of India was never consulted, even though he's supposed to be chief of the armed forces. It was not considered necessary. June 3rd was chosen when Sikhs would be celebrating 5th Guru's martyrdom. This was chosen to inflict maximum casualties, like Dr. Amrit Singh said, to bring them where the mass murder can take place. Not only Golden Temple, there were 42 to 74 Gurdwara based on what you read. They were all occupied. The army has occupied all Gurdwaras in May of 1984, not in June. In May 1984, all Punjab Gurdwaras were under control of army. 1 month before the attack, the HKL Bhagat, who was information minister, has called the meeting of all the newspapers and asked them to support the anti-Sikh campaign. Like before I said, 6 to 7 sham meetings what took place, but no result. B.D. Pandey, the new governor who was brought from Bengal, was called to meet Indira Gandhi, and she told him her plan is to crush terrorists, Sikhs, and if she has to, she will bombard Golden Temple. When he heard this, he was shook up, and he went to her chief secretary or whatever the title was, P.F. Alexander, and he gave the resignation that put a date whenever you want. He didn't think he could be part of it. And he was told, no, it's not necessary, so he went back. Next. On June 2nd, Governor of Punjab was forced to give sign the written request to invite army to aid the civilian authorities. Army was already there. Operation Blue Star, Operation Metal plus Operation Sharp. So that's one inside the Golden Temple, one outside. Then Operation Woodrow, rest of the Punjab. Army mobilized on May 25th. Important Gurdwaras were surrounded by May 13th. Punjabs were locked down. UK government, Mrs. Thatcher, did cooperate. I don't know what advice she did. She didn't send army, but she was a part of the advisor to Mr. Gandhi. The KGB was very actively involved in anti-Sikh campaign. It's written in the book, The Word Went By Our Way, written by one of the KGB agent who changed sides. So there's this many pages just on this. So they told Indira Gandhi that this day they are going to declare Khalistan. So you have to move into all Gurdwaras. So KGB was part of anti-Sikh campaign. Next. June 3rd, all communications for Punjab were cut. Total curfews imposed. Journalists expects 10,000 Sikhs trapped in Golden Temple. Milk vendors who were coming from the villages, they were killed. June 4th, army started firing. They started firing on June 3rd. They were seeing where the return fire will come, so they know where the Sikhs are hiding, but they didn't return any fire. So they started the attack on June 4th. June 5th, complete invasion took place. They had many companies changing, Tamils, others, but they were not able to penetrate because the General Shivek Singh had trained the commandos so well, they could not penetrate into the Parakrama or Golden Temple. Then they were unsuccessful. Next. June 6th, they brought the tanks and they bombarded the Akal Takht with 80 shells. Akal Takht was completely destroyed. People who begged for the water, I've seen the lady saying the same thing on the video, one of the social media. They asked for water, they said, there's a water, blood, urine on the floor, drink that. She said that she drank that because they were so thirsty. June is very hot. So this is the eyewitness account. Innocent Sikhs were there sitting with their hands tied behind. Women were raped. I was shocked to see that the army raped the women they arrested from Golden Temple. This is documented by A.R. Darshi, who has written a book on this struggle. He was the special duty magistrate in Punjab. He interviewed some of these women in Ludhiana jail and documented that they were raped. Cultural genocide was committed. Sikh reference library was destroyed. 300 bullets counted in the Harmandir Sahib. Thursday, June 7, troops discovered bodies of Sant Jarnail Singh, Pindrawale and his close associates. How many Sikhs died? According to cremation workers, 3,300. Chand Joshi, a writer, says 5,000. Eyewitness says 8,000. So anybody's guess. Anybody I think they could find, they killed. Number of Sikh crowds from the villages were moving to Harmandir Sahib, especially from Amritsar, Gurdaspur. Estimated 10,000 to 30,000 were killed by army. According to white paper of Indian government, 42 Gurdwaras raided, 2006 killed. That's their version, but it's probably a lot more. Helicopter shot 6 coming out of their houses, which is 100,000 to 120,000. In 4 to 6 weeks of Operation Woodrose, another 100,000 were arrested. Anybody with a Kesari turban or a symbolic sword was killed. Armed forces death at 35% of army division. Indian government say a few hundred, but Ved Marwa did some investigation. He was chief of police in Delhi one time. According to him, about 5,600 army soldiers died. So I heard the story. There was young army officer whose wife needed some hospital care for the delivery. He was in Amritsar. From Amritsar to all the way, there was no hospital available to non-civilians. He had to take his wife to Chandigarh. So you can see how many soldiers died on the way. 4,006 soldiers deserted. Operation Blue Star, and following 10 years, about 1 million to 1.2 million Sikhs died. This is by Sangar Singh, who was an intelligence officer for the government at that time. Sardar Jaswant Singh Khalda was able, most of the Sikhs who were killed outside, they were never identified and their family were never let know who died. So Sardar Jaswant Singh Khalda was an activist who was able to dig out the identity of 25,000 young men killed by police in fake encounters, and police also killed him. I was hoping his daughter, who lives in California, will come today, but I don't see her. I think they have some family events. Next. So this may be difficult for some people to watch, but I don't think I can complete the story without showing this. This is a, can you play video? Can you see it well? This is a tank. It's from documentary. It's not real because nobody could go and picture it. How they attacked the Golden Temple, the Kal Takht. Okay, next. This is the army generals parading after the attack. Next. Again, army generals. Next. Next. You can see death and destruction. Next. Destruction of Kal Takht by tanks. Next. 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 These are the people. I couldn't find the picture we produced one time in World Sikh News. They are tied. Their hands are tied. They are sitting there. They all came to Golden Temple to celebrate the death anniversary of 5th Guru. So most of them were killed. Next. See the bodies with blood and army. Next.
Okay, I found this on the web for bodies with blood army. Check it out.
This picture, I was not sure. This is Sanjarnail Singh, but then there's another picture I think almost confirms it. Next. So from different angle, that's Sanjarnail Singh, who was in Golden Temple, sacrificed. Next. This is General Shubhek Singh, who trained all those people who were able to fight the army. Next. You see in the villages, look at the dead bodies of people standing there helpless. Next. More dead bodies. Next. This is a complete killing of one family. Everybody from children to adults are gone. Next. This young man was killed by police and people were able to snatch his body from them before they could dispose of. Next. This is all fake encounters, arrested and killed. Next. 3-year-old child. arm cut off. Next. Guru Granth Sahib wounded by the bullet. Next. This is a picture of some of the people who died inside. Next. Next. This is the destroyed Akal Takht, very important building for the Sikhs. Next. So in conclusion, Prime Minister of India, Indira Gandhi, was directly responsible for Sikh genocide of June 1984. She orchestrated the plan and she carried out the plan ruthlessly without any regard to human life. Sikhs were killed only because they were Sikhs, not because they belonged to any party or anything. Any Sikh they could find was a terrorist. Sant Jarnail Singh Pindrawale was made a scapegoat. He was not even in Golden Temple when the Operation Group Star was planned and put in place. Sant Jarnail Singh Pindrawale had no criminal record. No warrant was issued against him. SGPC was never asked that he should be handed over to the authorities. So why would army go to kill somebody, blaming that they want to arrest him? There's no warrant, they know he's not wanted by any police. They have never asked SGPC to turn it over. He was just used as a scapegoat. Thank you. So this is the session, I think, over. We can take a 10-15 minute break and then we come back and start at the other two. Thank you very much.
Is she okay?
Hello? Hello, please take your seats so we can get started. We want to finish in time.
Dr. Grewal, can I give just a word?
May I say a word?
Friends, I just wanted to say a few words. First, President Wood wishes he could be here. He's out of the country on urgent business with the system chancellor, but he's very grateful that you are here and that your truth is being told. I want to say a special word of thanks to Dr. Grewal, who helped to make this possible, not only by arranging the session and bringing the thought together, the leadership, also he and Inder Dosanjh, and I don't know if Mr. Dosanjh is here today, but Mr. Inder Dosanjh and Dr. Grewal also helped to make this possible in other ways in sponsoring the conference. So his generosity is evident as well as his insight. So if you would please join me in applauding our beloved doctor. Yes.
So 1984 genocide was a whole year genocide, but we couldn't combine all in one lecture. So the second part of Sikh Genocide 1984, which happened on October 31st to November 4th and 5th, is what we're going to talk. So this next, like they had a name Blue Star, this operation was named Operation Shanti. Shanti means peace. That means they were going to exterminate the Sikhs and also deny. That was their Shanti. Next. Indira Gandhi's internal team assessment showed that what happened in Golden Temple was not enough. She was not going to win the elections, which was supposed to take in December or May, December or January. So to make it happen, another anti-Sikh genocide was planned called Operation Shanti. She drew a diabolic plan. I don't know if diabolic plan is clear too. The diabolic means devil's plan. Named Operation Shanti to be carried out on November 8th, when Sikhs would be celebrating Guru Nanak's birthday at all Gurdwaras. Very similar to Sikhs will be in Gurdwaras in June. Now Sikhs are going to be Gurdwaras in November. So it was easier for them because Pakistan was tied up with the Afghan war, so they didn't feel that Pakistan will be any threat. Large-scale skirmishes, virtually amounting to war, were to take place along the Indo-Pak border, and then they will broadcast the Sikhs have joined the Pakistan and they will bombard the Sikhs. 5 districts were chosen: Amritsar, Gurdaspur, Firozpur, Kapurthala and Jalandhar. They were to be bombarded by air, and then the ground army would finish the rest. Sikhs all over India to be subjected to mass-scale massacre, loot, arson, Congress Eye, which is Indira's Congress. Criminals were hired who were to wait for a signal. A blueprint of Sikh genocide was prepared under the direct supervision of Indira Gandhi. Certain army officers advised against it, but again Vaidya gave her reassurance that everything is ready. She went to Kashmir on October 27, 1984, to make sure that Kashmir was not going to be taken over by Pakistan. All preparations were there. Unfortunately for her, or fortunately for us, somebody in PEF Alexander, who was her principal secretary, his office leaked this plan. You know, it's easy to buy people there with a bottle of whiskey or something. So it leaked to President Zia, found out. He told his ambassador to go directly to Prime Minister's office and arrange a meeting without any condition. We don't want any war. So later on, about a couple of years later, I don't remember the date, somebody was arrested from P.F. Alexander's office for leaking this plan, and he went to jail, and P.F. Alexander had to resign. Next. R.K. Tavan. R.K. Tavan used to be stenographer for Nehru, and he was a very close family friend of Nehru family. For reason unknown, he leaked this plan to his friend Byan Singh, who was Indira Gandhi's bodyguard. Byan Singh, when he found out what is going to take place, he recruited his friend Satwan Singh, and they both made a plan that they were going to thwart this plan and make sure it does not happen again. So he gave a special instruction to Satwan Singh to make sure when this takes place, they were going to shoot her, that Tavan is not harmed. So there's some other investigation which also finger pointed to Tavan. Then he had hand in it, but he was cleared and he became minister, was very close to Rajiv Gandhi. So October 34 in the morning, there was some meeting supposed to be with the foreign journalists when Indira Gandhi comes out. Byan Singh shoots her with his revolver, and Satwan Singh emptied his carbine. And they shot in the abdomen, so they want to make sure nobody nearby was going to be harmed. She was taken to hospital and she died. When she was at the hospital, R.K. Tavan supposedly was to be there, so he was there very worried. He's calling Indira Gandhi's residence all the time, trying to inquire about Byan Singh. He was worried that his plan leaked, that he will be in trouble. When he found out Byan Singh was shot dead, he felt relieved. Next. The Indian embassies were sent text messages that Indira Gandhi was no more, and there were 3 persons, one clean-shaven and 2 Sikhs. There are many books show there was 3rd person, but you never know what happened to who that was. We don't know. So after that, her death, the plan which was going to be implemented on November 8th at Guru Nanak's birthday moved further to that evening. So people who were standing there near the hospital, HKL tells them, what the heck are you doing here? Go do something. Rajiv Gandhi goes on public TV and he says, when big tree falls, there are repercussions. Indian TV was broadcasting all the time, Khoon ka badla khoon, blood for blood. And there were rumors spread that Sikhs were celebrating with the sweets, and Sikhs had poisoned the water. So the situation was created where every Sikh now becomes a suspect. All those 200,000 criminals they have hired, ready to go, they were brought into Delhi with the DTU buses, that's Delhi transport buses. The police of Delhi and help them. Police give them the diesel and petrol from their vehicles so they can start the fire. The Sikh officer, which is about 30% of Delhi police, were told not to show up that day, so they won't be able to protect. So Congress I workers were going in front of the mob. They will mark the Sikh houses with S, and the mob will burn the houses, burn the people, kill people, rape. It was like unhindered 3-4 days carnage where like Sikhs were treated like animals. Nobody. Some of the Sikhs had the weapons. When they try to defend themselves, the police will take their weapons and the mob will move in. Women were gang raped. One woman was gang raped in presence of her 17-year-old son. Her picture is on the somewhere that can be seen. Children were killed. Hindus who tried to protect the Sikhs were not spared either. Gurdwaras were burned, so they could not go to Gurdwaras. 450 gurdwaras in Delhi, about 75% of were demolished or destroyed. So the Sikhs could not go there. This is not my statistics. This is from Jal Singh's book, who was the President of India. Army was not called. President Jal Singh was calling the Prime Minister, calling the Home Minister to call the army. Nobody listened to him. When they called the army, they were told not to shoot anybody, just flag march. Sikh males between 20 to 50, approximately 100,000 were the target. What happened in Delhi and Hindi belt caused Sikhs the loss of 30,000 lives, billions worth of property, which was, however, much less than originally planned on November 1984. So if this has not happened, imagine what you see on TV in Gaza. Punjab would have been looking like Gaza, destroyed by the bombardment, by the military. So these two brave Sikhs were able to prevent that. They laid their life. Next. Doordarshan was Indian TV, spreading rumors. The worst place was Trans-Jamuna colonies. The Lokpuri was one of the main things. There are several, one of them I don't have time for the name. The Lokpuri, 406 were burned in one day. And nobody, in spite of President of India, people calling thousands of phone lines, nobody was listening, nobody was recording the phone. Police were like ignoring, nothing is happening. Some of the Congress leaders, H.K.L. Bhagat, Sajjan Kumar, Jagdish Titler, Kamal Nath, these are all MPs or ministers, Arjan Das Shastri, Lalit Makhan, were working at the direction of Rajiv Gandhi. Rajiv Gandhi was finally responsible. He had taken the charge and he was conducting it. Amitabh Bachchan, which is a famous actor, he went on Doordarshan say, Khoon ka badla kho. It's so shameful. His mother came from Sikh family. More than 30,000 Sikhs killed throughout India, many places, especially the Hindu belt. Almost as many Sikhs as many Sikhs killed during these 4 days were almost as much the general killed in Chile from 1973 to 1990. The world has taken notice of what happened in Chile, but the same thing what happened there in years happened in 4 or 5 days in Delhi. More than 300,000 Sikhs displaced and rendered homeless. Out of 450 gurdwaras in Delhi, 3/4 were destroyed or demolished. There were more than 500 trucks belonging to Sikhs were burned, but later quietly replaced by Tata Motors. Very nice family, no questions asked. Billions worth of property of Sikhs were destroyed. There was a factory, I don't remember the name, it's like a water, like Coca-Cola kind of Sikh business, was completely ruined because he was a Sikh. Next. So these are the places. It didn't happen only in Delhi. Look at Jammu, Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Uttarakhand, Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Chhattisgarh, Orissa, Tripura, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala. So Sikhs were killed everywhere. There was trains going in and coming out of Delhi where there was Sikh army soldiers in the uniform. They were not spared. Some of them were burned in hundreds. Next. President of India was calling the Home Minister and the Prime Minister. He was ignored. So there was a committee. Colonel Saab is going to go over that. There were many committees and commissions. One of them, called Kusumlata Committee, identified 72 police officers guilty of crime. None of them was punished. Next. So this, we can go quickly. These are the list of the names of the people, these are police officers or policemen, where they were working at that time, what their rank was. There were 80 of them. Go next. 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 So next. Go back one. So the 80 of them in the book, and none of them has been published. It's a public record. It's not that nobody knows about them. So next, I think to convey what I'm saying in pictures, I'm going to show some slides. I hope you're not offended. Here's the young man and many other bodies burned. Next. More carnage. Next. Is the train set on a fire. Next. Dog is eating dead Sikhs meat. Next. There is a mob attacking the Sikhs, and there's a policeman. He's running from the mob and faces the policeman. Now policeman is beating him. Next. I don't know if you can see, is a tire in the neck of a Sikh and is being burned. This story repeated again and again. I said the 400 people, 400 Sikhs died in Trokpuri in one day. Next. More burning Sikhs. Next. Next. Different area. Death and destruction everywhere. Next. 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 East Patel Nagar. Next. 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 Is a Gurdwara being destroyed. Next. Next, again Gurdwara being destroyed. Next. Next. Another Gurdwara being attacked. Next. Next. Bus being burned. The Sikhs are burned in it. Next. These are some of the people who died there. Next. Next. So before I go to that, I'd like to thank you, Father Lickner. He's a friend and a human rights advocate. I'm glad that you came. So in conclusion, I think the pictures told the most of the things that I could not express. This is my conclusion. Rajiv Gandhi was in control room, actively participating in carrying out Blue Star. There was a control center in Delhi during Golden Temple attack where Rajiv Gandhi was personally part of that. Okay? He was personally directing the forces of evil responsible for Sikh genocide in October and November in 1984. He ignored all the calls requesting army to protect and establish law and order in Delhi. He even ignored the President of India, who was a Sikh. For his role in Sikh genocide, he was handsomely rewarded by Indians giving him supermajority in the parliament. There's a Punjabi proverb that grief lessens by sharing and happiness multiplies. Dukh vandan na karda, khushi vaddi hai. So that's why I'm here with the friends talking about this. Events of 1984 have affected all the Sikhs and changed our lives forever. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Professor Wheeler. Now we will go to Dr. Colonel G.B. Singh. He's going to talk about 1984 and after, why no justice. Thank you.
see. You can look at me. Okay, great. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Wheeler, for dropping by. Thanks for this university to allow this forum. I think this is great. Generally, genocides, especially Asian genocides, we talk about Hitler and what he did, but Asian genocides are ignored. So this is a great event to learn what East can do also to its own citizens. So Sikh genocides and after effects, so that is what happened after and why there is no justice. It's been 40 years or so, still no justice. What happened? I'll give you a little run, and then at the end we'll open up something that perhaps we may answer why. So next, sir. All right. I say flag of India. Often we tend to ignore all that stuff, but we're not going to get into. The reality is India, for its generally perception as a great democracy, the world's largest democracy, human rights, all that good stuff is there. But then, what happened here? Okay, what happened? There's nothing there. Especially for Sikhs, when we look at it, all the stuff happened, but there's nothing out there. There's no outcome. So I think this is not the time to get into all of that. Another time. Next. Now, Mrs. Indira Gandhi, I ran into her when I was a political science student. That's when I began to learn about her, who really she was. But cut it short, 1984, when the state murders happened. State murders is when she's committing Indian military, Indian police force, and they're directly involved in killing civilians. Those are state murders, not necessarily sponsored, but they are done by the state itself. So let's look into that. I want to give you some numbers. Yes, okay. And then, of course, we're going to look into November, and that is the murder sponsored by the state. That means the Indian government had sponsorification going on to allow others to come and kill Sikhs. Okay? Let's move on. So in Punjab, give you the kill count. It's a kill count. In Punjab, the range varies into about 10 years, from 1 million to 1.2 million. That's a lot of people getting killed. These are estimates, of course. No authentic investigator-derived numbers are available. Very simple. Why? The government willfully destroyed the evidence.
What was the population in total in Punjab, so that I have a sense for the proportion of 1.2 million?
This is Punjab, even at that time, about 60% Sikhs at that time.
So total is 30 million now.
30
So
million
that
is
time
now.
at 25 or something.
25, maybe 20 million. That's still a lot of people. Yeah, that's a lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people. New Delhi and other places, as government figures, Indian government figures are 3,350. Other estimates go from 8,000 to 17,000. The reality is we still don't know the uncounted deaths from places other than Delhi. They're just not available, gone. Those who died in other places beyond New Delhi, we simply have no idea how many there were. Now, you just want to make sure, right after all these tragedies taking place, there were some unofficial investigations. I brought one here. I think there may be some copies here. This is unofficial investigation by People's Union for Democratic Rights, People's Union for Civil Liberties, and of course, that's this one. And then there's the Human Rights Watch. They have their own separate. And then there's a fourth one is Citizens for Democracy published Truth About Delhi Violence. That's the fourth one. So these are unofficial accounts. So I'm bringing it here so I can concentrate more on it, so you know that I'm not making it up. This is not done by the Sikhs. These are non-Sikhs who are doing it. This is their investigation. Next. Now, very nice. Indian government established one after the other 10 commissions or committees officially to investigate these crimes. You realize these crimes happened, there was no doubt about it. So I'm going to go through with you what these commissions are. What did they do actually? These are official commissions. For example, number one, you see Marwa Commission. It starts in November 1984. Remember, the New Delhi murders and others were done right in the first week of November 1984, right after Mrs. Indira Gandhi was assassinated. So the commission starts in November 1984. But here's a wonderful. Mr. Marwa happens to be a additional police officer. He's a big guy. And he completed his investigation by mid-1985, and immediately, abruptly, he was taken off by the Home Ministry, which is Internal Security Ministry. So whatever the investigation that he did, essentially they were buying time. That's really what it is. In other words, it was not meant to provide justice. Now, before these things started, the President of India happens to be a Sikh. Right here. Got a book by him. Okay? He happens to be a Sikh, and he talks to Rajiv Gandhi and the Home Minister. He wants this investigation started so that culprits can be brought to justice. He was given a cold shoulder. That's President of India. He's given a cold shoulder. Just think on what is happening behind. Okay? So then comes, I'm just going to give you just taste of these committees and commissions, that they are not meant to bring justice. They are not meant to bring any justice to anybody. These are out there to let the people know that there's investigation going on. These are big guys doing it, but in the end you get nothing. Nothing happens. Okay? So the next one, number two commission, Mishra, who happens to be who? A member of the Supreme Court of India. Wow, that's big guys. So he published his report in August 1986, and the report was made public, but it was not part of terms of his agreement, that his report, that anybody would be brought to justice. What is this then? Okay? But then the doors open up for other commissions, that one after the other. They're coming in and they're buying time, and yet nothing is happening. And I just want to bring you up here the number 8, Mr. Dillon, who happened to be a Sikh. And I met him. He was at that time India's High Commissioner in Canada. I met him in Washington, D.C. And I think within an hour or so with him, I realized that I'm not going to learn anything from him. At that time, I was investigating India at that time. Even at that time, it started. So Narula, the last one, and then this one is the most important part, because that was the last one. So next one. Now remember, this investigation, that's the last one. By the time his report came out, and I have 2 reports of him, if anybody wants it. The Prime Minister of India at the time happened to be a Sikh fellow. It's very coincidence, so to speak. Okay? But anyway, Mr. Nanavati, he died in 2021, a member of the Supreme Court, and right after he retired, he was given this job to investigate these murders. It's a one-man commission. That's another strange thing when you go through these committees, and you think in committee there will be a number of people there. You don't find number of people there. You find maybe one guy. Or you go through the commission, and again, this is a commission. It's one man. All right, and the report is issued on February 9, 2005. Now realize, murders and all these pogroms took place in 1984. You can see already they bought so much of the time. Witnesses are gone. Things are moving on, and life is changing. Next one. So Mr. Manmohan Singh happens to be the Prime Minister when that report comes out. And what does Mr. Singh? Now remember, this is a Sikh fellow. It's a Sikh fellow. So what does he do? He apologized to the Sikhs for the Operation Blue Star and the killings and the lootings and the destructions that followed. That's all he did. But no justice. Where is the justice? No justice. He's the Prime Minister of India. He cannot give you justice. Next. Now, we all know President Obama. His book just came out in about 4 years ago, 2020. And on page 6, he refers to PM Manmohan Singh. That's when he met him when he was in India. And he refers to Manmohan Singh as a member of a tiny, often persecuted Sikh religious minority. That's President of the United States saying it. Okay? And I just brought it. It should be there in your library, this book. Go ahead next. So who are the guilty ones? Back to this one. They are the ones who recognize that these are the people, these are the politicians who are out there leading the pogroms against Sikhs. So number of the 16 of them brought it in here. I highlighted number 1, 3, and 6. If you see, they are all in red color because they are the face of these guys. They are the face. They are leading the masses to go after Sikhs. So I'm going to spend more time on these guys than others. Okay, but just recognize there's a whole lot of politicians involved in killing Sikhs. Let's go look at number 1. Go ahead next. Sorry.
Want me to go back?
No, it's okay. In this book, they also mentioned the police. Police was also involved in killing of Sikhs, in fomenting racial or ethnic or religious hatred against Sikhs. So again, we're not going to be looking into all of that. You recognize there's a well-planned operations going on. Next, let's take a look at this big guy. Now, these are big fish. I want you to learn what big fish are doing. One is, of course, the Prime Minister at the time is Rajiv Gandhi. Okay, that's a big fish. But the guys who are right below him, they are quite deadly. So this guy, Mr. Bhagat, he died 2005 and known as the Kingmaker in Delhi. He had been a member of parliament, MP 6 times. Union minister, he had once had 3 ministries, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Ministry of Information Broadcasting, Minister of Parliamentary Affairs. That's a big guy. And by the time when this murder happened, he was a Minister of Information Broadcasting, current minister in place. Before all of that, he used to be mayor and deputy mayor of Delhi. And he's considered the chief whip of the Congress party. This guy's powerful guy, powerful man. Now his name is all over. His name is all over. Everybody's pointing him that he is also leading the masses of the gundas or the criminals to go and kill Sikhs. His name is all over. So where do we get the justice today, 40 years later? Next. None. None. You got nothing. Let's take a look at that, another one. Jagdish Titler, that's another guy. Now he's alive. I checked it out yesterday. He's alive, 80 years old. So he had been a member of parliament several times. Minister of State for Overseas and Indian Affairs, Minister of Civil Aviation, Minister of State for Surface Transport. Again, that's a powerful man within the Congress party, within the Indian government structure, both. So what do we get here? Any justice? Now here a little bit different, Instead of none, you see the Central Bureau of Investigation, this is India's internal. CBI closed all cases against Mr. Titler in November 2007 for his alleged criminal conspiracy to engineer violence against Sikhs in the aftermath of Indira Gandhi's assassination. There you go. Okay, next. But there's an update on it. As of just recent few months, September 13, 2024, Delhi court frames murder charges against this guy. Now he's 80 years old. Just remember that. He's 80 years old. Now you be the judge. Justice served or not? I can tell you it's not. He's 80 years old, and I can tell you right now, nothing is going to happen. That's the way it's going to go. Okay? Next. Here's the third guy I'm going to address, Mr. Sajjan Kumar. He's alive as of yesterday, they were checked. Almost about 80 years old. MP again. He was also a member of parliament. He was also elected from the Delhi Municipal Corporation of Delhi. That is before Delhi has his own government. This is today's style. This is at that time. So this guy was also at one time General Secretary Pradesh Congress Committee in Delhi. That is the Congress Party organization in New Delhi. He was the leading man. He was their leader. Okay? So these guys are well placed into the system, into the hierarchy. So what do we get here? Do we get justice? Let's go next. Now here it is. Any justice. He was sentenced to life imprisonment by Delhi High Court on December 17, 2018 for his role in 1984 Sikh killings. Now that's, you can begin to count how many years later. But here's the update. A special CBI court granted him bail in one case related to the 1984 riots. They use the word riots over there, but you realize the pogrom. On April 27, 2022, just about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, okay? However, he remained in jail due to his conviction in another case, Bengal. So in other words, for the mass killings of Sikhs and mass looting, justice is not served. Okay, that's where he may still be in the prison. I tried to check, I couldn't get the right answer. He may be still in the prison, but for a different reason. Next one. All right, very important, very, very important. This book, I just got it last month. We didn't even know it existed. Gyani Zail Singh happens to be the president at the time, but a very unique individual. He was home minister from 1980 to 82 and a president from 82 to 87. So that is during this time when the Sikhs suffered the most. This guy was a big guy. He was a big guy. Home minister is deputy prime minister and president is head of the state. And 1994 he died, and 1996 the book is released. He made sure that this book would not be released while he was alive. And I think it's worth reading it, what he has to say. I really think it's worth reading this stuff. Anyway, if anybody needs a copy, let me know. Next. Now, move on to a few years later, 2014, we had a different party in power other than Congress. And this is RSS backed. RSS, we all know that, is essentially KKK of India. There's no other better way to describe it. And they run the show now, and they have their own government. You got this Narendra Modi, and you got Amit Shah, Deputy Prime Minister, and they're well known in the newspapers now for doing something different. Instead of killing Sikhs in India, they're moving out. They are moving to the killing Sikhs 10,000 miles away. This is where this is going. Next. These are names that you can read in the newspaper. Mr. Nijjar was already murdered, I think last year in June. And this individual, Mr. Pannu, I think he got lucky. He was on the target and FBI saved him. But these guys, these Indian leaders are sending death squads. Not in India only, death squads in America, in Canada, and other places to hunt down the Sikhs. This is the reality we are facing. Next. So it's what they coined, the term has been coined, it's transnational repression. That's the term we are being told now, which really is, next one, and that is, it's a government reaching out across the borders to silence dissent among diasporas and exiles, including through assassinations, illegal deportations, abductions, and you can add on a lot more there. That's really what is going on. So Indian government leaders have learned one thing. Not only they can kill you inside India, they can come outside also, get you. Get ready. Next. All right. Any scope of justice for Sikhs in India? Frankly, the answer is no. You can try. You can try. One thing I can advise you, if you have an interest into learning what Indian state is. I brought a copy of the Indian Constitution. Please, this is the way to start. I had to teach that even an individual at State Department, the importance of this. You got to start reading this because don't assume that there's nothing in it. It's a huge stuff. And these guys, they run through this, provided we read it. See, the problem is we don't read this stuff. Okay? And that's why a lot of this stuff, we can't understand it. Everything that you want to know about it, this is the start. And then we can move on to something else also. Okay? Their ideologies and so forth and so forth. But anyway, if there's a more question there, we are available. That's all I have. Thank you.
Dr. Mason, should we come up? Dr. Mason. We have almost half an hour for question answer. You can ask questions, or you can explain something that you may not have known. So we can have free discussion.
Leave it there. Just leave.
Has there been amendments in Constitution of India?
Yes, as of
Use this.
just a few days ago, there are total of 107 amendments.
And what's the majority that makes the
It's the Indian Parliament.
No, 2/3.
Yeah, 2/3. I think I don't remember it, but I think article. Yeah, it's the easiest thing for them to do. Unlike our United States Constitution, it's the easy in India. It's very easy to do it.
So Shahid, there's a majority-minority concept. When it's about the rights of minority, anything can be done. Look what happened in Kashmir. They broke the state, they did send the army, so they can change anything because that's the situation. Thank you. Anybody else has a question?
I can add something more. All these amendments, not a single one is meant to protect the rights of individual. They are all meant to protect Indian state. That means it gives more power to the government as opposed to people. Okay?
No comment, Sikhs never
I think I'm not with the mic.
Oh, thank you.
Who has the question?
Just a comment, brief
We don't
comment,
have a
that
mic.
Sikhs never signed any of this constitution. They refused to sign because they were unhappy with it.
No, I can. That's a good point, but let me clarify here. The Sikh members of the Constituent Assembly, there were about 6 or 7 of them, I
But
can
this is
remember.
there.
They signed
Over
it.
there.
They signed it. But the 2 members who were members of the Akali Dal, they did not sign it. And they did not sign it for a different reason. Minority issue, not necessarily what else is contained in it. Okay? Yes.
Yeah, their disagreement was on Article 25 because they included Sikhs into Hindus. That's the only dispute they had. Thank you.
Other questions?
I think one question I have is, in listening to all of this and then reading some, is there really an Indian state? What I mean by that is it really a self-governing state, or is it an annex of many other individuals, and where the power struggle is still going on, 100, 200 years ago, where Russia, US, and all these guys, uranium in Kazakhstan. Is India really, as most people think, okay, that it's a free state, but it isn't. It's a handful of people that are controlled by outside powers that control the dissidents, where the Sikhs are the dissidents. And so is it really a free and fair country that as we think it is perceived to be.
Can we add one more question?
Yeah.
And then answer both together.
Well, I don't think India is a free country. I was born there and I'm not allowed to go back there. So that tells you that it's not a free country. Okay, you can consider yourself to free if you belong to the gangsters, then you can do anything. If you are not part of the gangster team, which is RSS, BJP, all that, then you could be anybody. Look at the Rajiv Gandhi. He just said all the Modis are crooks. And he lost his membership in the parliament. There's no country where this happens. Rahul Gandhi, yeah, sorry. So there is no freedom. There's no freedom of speech, no freedom to act. If he can lose his parliament seat for saying that, which is actually not bad. If you look at all the people who have swindled money out of India and ran out of India, there's only one non-Gujarati. So he didn't say anything wrong, but he lost his parliament seat.
So the question is, if we go to the core nucleus of what is really happening there, you know, more so, what we're looking at is just what's going on with the RSS, but who's behind the RSS? Who, you know, you've got the great game going on. It's still going on. We see it in, like you said, in what they were proposing was something similar in Punjab as what's going on in Gaza. So what's the real game that's going on? It was going on through Ranjit Singh's time. In my opinion, you know, I think it's much deeper than what we perceive as what we have seen.
So RSS and all similar organizations started by Brahmins. Their main aim is to re-establish supremacy of Brahman, so he controls your life from birth to death. I think I wrote one article discussed on the Satellite TV. If you want, I can send you. Every one of them, RSS except one, they were all Brahmins. So that's their goal. You want to live under them, they are happy. You don't want to keep your identity, you can live there. But if you want to keep your identity, then you're not. We are outspoken, we have outside presence, but the Muslim minority, especially in small areas, they are crushed. They are crushed physically, and poverty is so much they have no time to even talk like we're talking. Especially these small places. They say they just beat them. Thank you.
Let me just. You asked a question if this is a state. This is the largest constitution of roughly about 200 countries in the UN. Obviously, they made this constitution. It is a state. It may be considered soft state. That's different. Okay?
That's my point.
Bernard Nozitter in 1970s called it a soft state. And it is a soft state.
Yes.
I agree with that. But it is still a state.
Yeah. But it's a substate.
Yes.
Yeah, so in other words, it's kind of a nation state. Yeah, so because there are so many nations, nationalities, and but what this government represents, it doesn't represent all the nationalities in India. And so it's a nation state basically predominantly of the Hindutva thought, Bharat. And it's going back to the BC's, you know, the glory of Hinduism. And so it's most of a kind of an imaginary Hindutva state. Kind of, it's not because it represents their hopes and aspirations, not the hopes and aspirations of other nationalities.
Since the 1980, it seems like the way the Indian democracy works, you have to create a Frankenstein and then kill the Frankenstein, and then you reward it with votes. And that's almost like a hopeless situation for those who are victims of this Frankenstein policy. In the 80s, as we have seen, to create the KGB started a big program in the world that Sikhs want Khalistan, and with falsified documents we have all this information. So what is the hope for minorities? I mean, what's the hope there when each time you're powerless, and that as we speak here, we could be another Frankenstein in the happening. They had in 1980, to win election 85, we have to create a Punjab-Punjabwali, Khalistan situation, then the Ram Mandir situation, the Gujarat situation. It's one situation after another. So is that how the Indian democracy would work, that you keep killing people to get reward? What's the hope for any minority?
So no, in Punjabi we say this person is like a girgat, changes the color. Like I think girgat is a chameleon who changes the colors and adapt. These Hindutva people are very sophisticated. You know, when Modi needed protection, he dresses like a Sikh, so Indira Gandhi can't arrest him. He lives in the Gurdwaras, okay? He goes to Gurdwara Bangla Sahib and he prays during this Kisan agitation. When he comes out, and then there's a plan to kill Sikhs. So if minorities don't understand and unite together, then it's a very hopeless situation. They will kill each and every one of them one by one. So it's up to the minorities to get together and survive. There's no simple answer. When the population stands up, you don't need an army. What happened in Soviet Union, what happened in Poland, what happened in so many places, it's up to the population to rise up and oppose it. I don't see any other way. Thank you.
We have a question in the back.
I just want to add what Dr. Gaywal shared earlier. So there are the Indian government, Modi, and rest of them are not only crushing Muslims, they're also crushing Catholics and Christians and any other non-Hindu religious people. Look at the example in Manipur. What happened to the Kukis, that their people were killed, they were displaced, their religious temples are gone, their homes are gone. A little child was killed in front of the mother. So there were just so many examples of inhumanism. So not only Sikhs are also tired, even from the 1984s, but also other people who are being treated as animals. So, for example, if you look back at the history, how did Rajiv Gandhi die? He was assassinated by in the South by a non-Sikh. Can you imagine if a Sikh would have killed Rajiv Gandhi? And so that was non-Sikh in the South, and it was a woman, in fact. So the more this is like a peeling an onion. This is just the top layer we peeled today, not even the whole top layer. It's the entire, the more we dig, the deeper we go, the worse it is. So I'm so thankful to all of you, and I think this is emotionally very heavy, but it's important for us to talk about this because we don't talk about it, and I wish there were more children in here. We have to continue doing this, so thank you for putting this together.
We have a paper on Manipur later on this afternoon, in case anyone is interested. Any comments?
Let me add. I just got the news yesterday, and I think I shared that with you, Reverend. In Manipur, there is a civil war going on. As of yesterday, that news I got, that every attempt is being made by the Indian government to make sure that news does not come out or the details of it does not come out. Just third update on Manipur.
Yes, the Prime Minister of India has not spoken even a word about Manipur.
Yeah.
That's so shameful. The people have been dying, everything bad is happening. He has no time to speak about that. But he can come to New York and talk about Hindutva. He talk about all those things. And he has no time to talk about his own state in India. That's shameful. But I just want to reiterate, Modi is not the problem. They will find another Modi. Is the system behind it, is the RSS who want to dominate. Recently, I can't tell you anything more. I just heard something very simple. There's some guy who was trained by RSS switched side. And he told the Sikhs, their job is to kill at least 33,000 Sikhs in Punjab. I don't know what the timeline is. So any minority, I don't think they can survive. Look in Tamil Nadu, other places, what people are going through. Thank you.
You know, there is, first of all, it's very nice to arrange this meeting because although we are very few people here today, but a lot of us do not know all the facts. So it's good educational effort that we self-educate what's going on. Secondly, you know, in India, if you analyze the population, you know, even yesterday, we were talking to some of my Hindu friends, and we said two things. First of all, I said, when father of the country is killed, assassinated, Mahatma Gandhi, how many Maharashtrians were killed? None. When Rajiv Gandhi was killed by a Tamilian, how many Tamilians were killed? None. When Indira Gandhi was killed, thousands and thousands of Sikhs were killed. So we have to realize, are we part of the country or are we not? If we are still sleeping, that's our fault. Secondly, when you analyze the population, Hindus are not 80%. We say 80%. The truth is, if you put all Christians together, Sikhs together, Muslims together, Dalits together, tribals together, and many others, it's probably more than 50%. And those 50% are splintered. They're not together. When it happens to Muslims, we keep quiet. When it happens to Sikhs, Muslims keep quiet. When it happens to Christians, all of us, we keep quiet. There has to be some way to coordinate in India all the minorities put together to fight. And maybe just like Russia, someday India should disintegrate into what happened to Russia. 20 countries came out of it without firing a bullet. How did it happen? Maybe we have to find a way. And what was said earlier about is India a state? The truth is, at Ranjit Singh's time, British, Russia were fighting for control of Afghanistan. They involved Sikh army also. And it's still going on. If England's Prime Minister and if KGB was involved in Golden Temple attack, what does it tell you? It tells you it's still going on. It's still going on, we are sleeping, we should wake up. And you know, we are not saying that we should destroy India. Good luck to India. But we have to protect our rights, we have to protect our territory. Even dogs protect their territory. We are human beings. We have done a lot for India. But we need to do something for ourselves, and we should do it in a decent way. We do not want to harm anybody. Hindus are not our enemies. Nobody else is our enemy. But we have to protect our rights. That's my.
Give it to Father.
A lot of you probably have seen me at other events before. If you don't know who I am, my name is Father Josh Lichter, and I formed an organization called the Assembly for Human Rights to help try to tell your story. So I want to just offer a word of encouragement. First, please keep telling your story. I know it can be very difficult to go back and relive this, but you honor everyone who has died under this horrible persecution before you by telling their story so that they're not forgotten and so that the next generation does not forget it. So please keep telling the story. People are listening. The second thing I want to say is a word of encouragement for you is I've been working really hard, and I have other colleagues that have been working hard to try and make these stories known to the American Christian community, and we've made great progress just in the past year. 4 major Christian denominations in America this past year issued resolutions condemning human rights violations in India and asking the State Department to designate India a country of particular concern. And that's groundbreaking that that's happened. And just last month, the National Council of Churches in the United States met. They represent over 100,000 Christian churches in the United States, and they passed a similar resolution. So American Christians are hearing your story, and they're retelling it, and they are taking action, speaking up, and letting our leaders know that action needs to be taken. So please don't be discouraged. Keep telling the story. Keep sharing it. More and more people are listening, and more people are hearing it. And the momentum that's starting right now is going to keep going. But we need you to be able to tell your story and share it and keep sharing it for that to happen. Don't give up.
Thank you so much for that. I know my role is just that of a facilitator here and one of the conference organizers. My name is Sujata Mani. I'm the chair of the Women's and Gender Studies Department. I agree with everything you said and what I'm hearing from the panel too, that communities have to come together. I'm from India. And so the Tamils have to come together with the Punjabis. And I just want to offer a clarification that the person who was a suicide bomber in Rajiv Gandhi's assassination was a Sri Lankan Tamil. And I'm sure you all know that the Sri Lankan army has annihilated the ethnic Tamil population in Sri Lanka. So they have, they've all committed genocide on that community.
Thank you, Father. Thank you, Dr. Sandhu. You know, the California State Assembly has recognized Sikh genocide happened. New Jersey did, Ontario, Canada did, Pennsylvania did, and then I'm not sure what the status. So there's more and more we talk, more and more people we reach, we can. But we also have to have sympathy, empathy with the other sufferers. We can't be just talking about ourselves. There are many other sufferers under that regime. And only by joining together something good can come out. Any other question?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Professor Wheeler.
Thank you, Father, for your encouraging words, and thank you, everyone, for being here and sharing your truth. I'm sorry I had to step out for a moment, but I don't think this question was asked. Would each of you speak to how you think the genocide is ongoing, or the genocidal efforts are ongoing, and try to characterize for us who don't know how being today anywhere in the world may nevertheless place you at risk of genocidal activity?
I think genocide is going on in many places in the world. This minority-majority situation is being exploited more and more. Many countries, people, that's why running away, migrating, and then they are going through a lot of other problems. For us, I think the continuation of Sikh genocide is what Dr. Colonel Saab said, transnational oppression. So they have now hired people for the money to kill the Sikhs outside. They give $10 million to one Afghan group to kill the Sikhs and Kashmiris in Pakistan. There was one young Sikh boy died in Pakistan. There was a Sikh leader killed in Surrey Gurdwara in British Columbia, Canada. There was one Sikh young man poisoned just like Russian style. You know, they do some radioactive, whatever they give. He dead in 2 days. The human rights activist Gurpatwant Singh Pannu, who arranged these referendums, where the Sikhs outside India vote to see what they want, and he was supposed to be killed, but they hired the wrong guy, who turned out to be FBI informer, and the case is still going on. So this ongoing oppression inside and outside, now they become so daring, they are not even afraid. You know, the Prime Minister of India goes on TV, say, "Guske marenge." That means we will intrude into your house and kill you. This I'm not making up. He said this on the TV, and they say every day. Before the elections, this recent election where his party didn't get total majority, otherwise would have horrible. He was preaching against Muslims all over, blatantly on the TV, so he could get the Hindu votes. But you know, some people heard. So some of the minorities, like we're saying, got together, where they built the Ram Mandir, which is their thing. That area and the 4 surrounding areas, his party lost. So people did not buy his, what he was saying. So hopefully, I think the people, as long as people listen, that's the only hope. The courts, I am not sure, you may be more knowledgeable, to go to world court, you have to be a country. Individuals are not going there. So I can't go say something wrong is happening. You have to have a country. I don't know if it's true or not, that's what I have been told. Thank you.
So, Professor Wheeler's questions, I'm just giving little dimensions of why all these genocides are happening. And the main reason is there are some current ideologies which are circulating and they have not been engaged, challenged. And I was reading one article about Hitler, that before he did, that genocide, so he came into contact with some secret societies. Just one of them was a Theosophical Society, and so there was a particular reference to Annie Besant, who is responsible for Indian Congress and Arya Samaj of India, and the same societies involved in Iran and Egypt and many others. So basically, there is some kind of a cult. That occult exploits contradiction of each society, and by exploiting those contradictions, they generate these kind of circumstances which genocides happen. So unless we engage with those kind of ideologies at the basic level, at the root foundational level, then.
Thank you. So this program is being live on Satellite TV, and I'm sure it will be on their YouTube later on if anybody want to watch. If no other question, thank you very much. Hopefully you will participate. If there's a program going on Manipur downstairs, I hope most of you will stay and join, at least some who can. We have some booklets. They are mostly by human rights organizations to see what happened in Delhi. If you have never read it, please take a copy, because we brought those copies for you. Hopefully you can share with people who didn't come with you, so they may have their doubts.
Lunch information, press the
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Professor Wheeler. Thank you, the university.